Development Agency Group, France devoted approximately 2.5 billion in 2024 to clean energy, including 400 million dedicated to the African continent. For France, priorities are clear, and we are so proud to share it with India. First, to reinforce the Starseed program, building local and capacity skills. Second, to facilitate access to financing for developing economy, pursuing sustainable growth, and improve the whole solar value chain, which must be open and accessible to all. And third, to further internationalize the ISA Secretariat, enhancing its reach and influence across all regions. COP30 will be a COP of implementation, and together we have been pioneering in implementation. Ladies and gentlemen, the next decade will be about smart grids, storage, and the digital economy. It's a bright future for solar energy. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your continued leadership and enduring partnership in this shared endeavor. As the world's third largest solar power producer, the Republic of India, under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister of India, continues to exemplify the transformative potential of solar energy. As the presidency of the International Solar Alliance, India continues to lead by example, demonstrating how energy transition and inclusive growth can go hand in hand. May I now invite Shri Prahlad Joshi, Honorable Union Minister for New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, and the President of the ISA Assembly to deliver his address.
Honorable President of India, Srimati Draupadi Murmuji, Shri Ashish Khanna, Director General of the International Solar Alliance, esteemed Minister, distinguished delegates from across the globe, good morning to again, Namaskar. Honorable President, it is my privilege to welcome you. Your presence adds the strength and meaning to our mission, reminding us that this is not just about adding the kilowatts, but about the serving a higher moral purpose. Let me also extend warm welcome to the ministers who have joined us from the other countries. Your presence reflects our shared commitment and global solidarity in advancing the clean energy future. I would like to begin by reflecting on the inspiration journey of our Honorable President. It is the journey that deeply resonates with the story of our nation. The Honorable President's life is defined not by the privilege, but by the quiet determination and commitment to the public service. First as a teacher, then as an MLA and minister, then as a governor, and now as head of the state of the world's largest democracy. Honorable President, Madam, your story is a proof that in India, no background is too humble and no barrier is too high to rise the highest levels of service. This, ladies and gentlemen, is not just a story of our Honorable President. It is a story of India, of India's renewable energy revolution. Some 10, 11 years ago, India was a marginal player in the global RE landscape. Yet today, we stand as a major force driving some of the world's largest clean energy projects. It is a special coincident that millions of Indians today rose before the sunrise to worship the sun we call Surya Dev on Chhat, a festival celebrating our eternal bond with nature. It is therefore a great occasion that we are meeting today at the headquarters of the International Solar Alliance. ISA is a true symbol of global cooperation and shared purpose. For thousands of years, India has shown how faith and progress, nature and growth can move together in harmony. As I said, just over a decade ago, India's renewable energy journey was only a beginning. Our challenge was to bring light to the hundreds of millions of homes. But like our Honorable President's journey, India's story is one of overcoming the great odds and a mission of service. Service to our 1.4 billion people to ensure energy access for all and service to our planet. Today, India stands at the forefront, not just as a participant, but a leader in the global energy transition. India is now the world's fourth largest RE capacity. Renewables in 2014 compared to today, in 2014 it is 81 gigawatt of renewable energy. Today it is 257 gigawatt. That is almost 217% growth. Solar energy in 2014 it was 2.8 gigawatt, and today it is 128 gigawatt as on date. That is 4,470% growth. Solar module manufacturing capacity to 2 gigawatt in 2014. Today it is 110 gigawatt, that is 5,400% growth. Solar cells, it was 0 in 2014. Today it is 27 gigawatt. Wafers, it was 0, now it is 2.2 gigawatt. This transformation was led by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. Under his leadership, India achieved nationally determined contribution target of 50% capacity from non-fossil sources 5 years ahead of the deadline. India is the voice of the global south, and through ISA, we are turning that voice into action, helping the nations harness the solar power and share technology. India's renewable tariffs, be it solar, solar plus battery, and green ammonia, are among the lowest globally. This reflects our ability to combine the scale with the speed and skill to make clean energy affordable. The International Energy Agency projects that India will become the world's second largest renewable market. The International Renewable Energy Agency calls India an energy transition powerhouse. And the Climate Change Performance Index continues to rank India among the top performers. In fact, among G20 countries, India is the only nation to have achieved its 2030 renewable energy target as early as 2021. We have consistently been at the forefront of the global efforts to mitigate the climate change. India now ranks the third in the world in terms of the growth in power generation capacity over the past 5 years. For a nation with one of the lowest per capita emission, one of the lowest per capita energy consumption, Globally, our commitment to clean energy transition is truly remarkable. In India, our guiding principle is Antyodaya, serving the last person first, last person in the queue, but serving the first. In the same spirit, our energy transition empowers the poorest. Through PM Kusum, the farmers now use the solar pumps for the irrigation, free from diesel costs, and even sell the surplus power. The PM Surya Muft Bijli Yojana aims to place solar panels on 10 million rooftops, turning the families into the producer of the free, clean electricity. Producer of the free, clean electricity. The IEA has rightly highlighted India's model of distributed solar that can serve as a blueprint for the entire world. We are proving that the clean energy is not a privilege for few, but it is right for all. Under PM Janman, off-grid solar is lighting the remote tribal hamlets that have waited 75 years for the power. For us, energy justice is a normal necessity. The spirit of the service extends to the world. For millennia, our civilization has played Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. May all be happy and prosperous. During our G20 presidency, our theme, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future, became the world's moral compass. The same philosophy shapes the International Solar Alliance. The ISA stands as a platform for South cooperation and belief that sunlight belongs to all humanity. Our One Sun, One World, One Grid initiative builds on that vision to connect the world through a shared clean energy grid, transmitting the solar power from where the sun shines, where it is dark. We believe greatness lies not in domination, but in service, to be Vishwamitra, the friend of the world. The road ahead is long, but our resolve is firm. We have shown that the nation of 1.4 billion can overcome the odds, lift the millions out of the poverty, and lead globally clean energy transition under the leadership of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. I am happy to highlight that this assembly meets as the world's witness its fastest clean energy expansion. Solar energy now over 1,600 gigawatt globally and accounts for nearly about 40% of our total renewable energy generation. Yet the progress remains uneven. In sub-Saharan Africa and small island nations, millions still live without reliable electricity. Bridging this divide demands collective ambition and equitable finance. India invites all the partners of the International Solar Alliance to join this mission to engage, energize, and empower the new global energy order together. India is now working on contribution of $25 million to the African Solar Facility under ISA to support the investment in the mini-grids and distributed renewables across Africa. This reflects our belief in equitable growth within the global south. With these words, let me thank France, our co-president, for its firm partnership and climate leadership, and commend the Director General I saw Mr. Ashish Khanna for steering the organization into a result-driven phase. This 8th Assembly reaffirms our shared determination to make solar energy a true global public good, ensuring no community or country is left behind. With these thoughts, I now invite Honorable President of India to deliver her keynote address. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Union Minister for New and Renewable Energy, Shri Prahlad Joshi ji, Co-Chair of the 8th session of the International Solar Alliance Assembly, Mr. Vinayak, Director General International Solar Alliance, Ashish Khanna ji, Honorable Ministers of the State from Ghana, Sri Lanka and Suriname, other distinguished representatives from ISA member states and partners, ladies and gentlemen. Namaskar. I am happy to join you all at the 8th session of the International Solar Alliance Assembly today. As the host country and the current president of the ISA Assembly, India takes great pride in bringing together the member countries on the common platform. The ISA stands as a symbol of humanity's shared aspiration to harness solar energy as a source of inclusion, dignity, and collective prosperity. Since ancient times, civilizations in India and across the world have revered the sun as the ultimate source of life and energy. This morning, as part of Chhath Puja celebrations, devotees in various parts of India offered arghya to the rising sun and prayed for the well-being and prosperity of their families. Yesterday, I also offered prayers to the setting sun. The sun connects us all, and when treated as a shared resource, it becomes a powerful force for global good. Ladies and gentlemen, climate change is affecting the entire world. Urgent and concrete steps need to be taken to deal with this threat. India is committed to combating climate change and is taking determined steps. International Solar Energy was launched in 2015, and its founding conference was held in 2018 in New Delhi. The ISA represents a significant step towards addressing this global challenge by encouraging the adoption and use of solar energy. Solar energy is a rediscovery of an ancient truth, that is, sun is the most democratic source of energy, accessible to all and belonging to none. The Solar for All initiative of the Government of India is based on this concept. Solar energy should not remain confined to the rooftop of the privileged. It should illuminate the homes of the poorest and open new opportunities for every person seeking a livelihood. Solarization at large scale will democratize energy use, enabling citizens to become active participants in building a clear and cleaner and more equitable planet. The idea of inclusion defines India's development journey. Our experience in illuminating homes in the remotest area confirms our belief that energy equity is the foundation of social equity. Access to affordable and clean energy, empowering communities, drives local economy and open up opportunities that extend well beyond the provisions of electricity. In this manner, solar energy is not merely about power generation, but also about empowerment and inclusive development. Ladies and gentlemen, the participation of women in every field is crucial for inclusive and sustainable development. ISS Solar for Sea initiative is a welcome initiative to empower women through strategic interventions in areas such as policies, financing, and skilling. It is heartening to note that across India and many member countries, women are becoming solar engineers, entrepreneurs, and trainers. They are maintaining mini-grids, operating solar pumps, and bringing light to their areas. Their leadership ensures that solar energy not only reduces carbon footprints, but also breaks gender barriers. I am confident that energy access in the hands of women will definitely transform the lives of communities. Ladies and gentlemen, India ranks fourth in renewable energy installed capacity and also in wind power. It ranks third in solar power generation. Our progress in the renewable energy sector reflects the country's commitment and robust policy framework. It is a matter of pride that the country's installed solar capacity had crossed 120 gigawatt. This is an important step in achieving India's long-term goal of reaching 500 gigawatt of non-fossil capacity by 2030. However, our journey does not end here. By 2050, India aims not only to meet its clean energy targets, but also to become a hub that aggregates global solar demand and drives innovation, manufacturing, and knowledge exchange. Synergy between climate action and rural prosperity is essential for sustainable development. The Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha एवं Uttan Mahabhiyan is ensuring energy security for farmers along with honoring India's commitment to increase the share of installed capacity of electric power from non-fossil fuel sources to 40% by 2030. Dear delegates, the International Solar Alliance has already made remarkable progress, including the Global Solar Facility, Small Islands, Developing State Platform, Africa's solar mini-grids, and emerging digital innovations. The next step must be deeper inclusivity, ensuring that no women, no farmer, no village, and no small island is left behind in this solar revolution. India remains steadfast in its commitment to work with all ISA member countries to build a solar-powered world, one in which every region, from the smallest island to the largest continents, prospers. As this Assembly deliberates on the way forward, I urge all member countries to think beyond infrastructure and focus on the lives of the people. I urge this Assembly to develop a collective action plan that links solar energy with job creation, women's leadership, rural livelihoods, and digital inclusion. Our progress should not only be measured through megawatts, but through the number of lives illuminated, the number of families strengthened, and the number of communities transformed. The focus should also be in technology development and on sharing latest and advanced technologies with all for maximum benefit. As we expand large-scale solar installations, we should ensure that the ecological balance of the region is preserved. After all, environment conservation for future is the very reason we are turning to green energy. As we look forward to this shared future, our responsibility is to harness sunlight wisely and share it equitably. We have to work with more dedication not only for our own countries, but for the entire world. Not only for the present generation, but for the future generations. I am confident that the deliberations and decisions of this assembly will act as a milestone in the production of solar energy, which is contribute in building an inclusive and equitable world. Together, let us strive for a brighter, greener, and more inclusive future. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
We thank the Honorable President of India for her inspiring and gracious words. Your vision for a greener and more equitable planet resonates deeply with the collective mission of the International Solar Alliance to ensure that the light of the sun becomes the light of progress for all. Please be seated, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. And with that, as we thank the Honorable President of India for this high-level session, I express my gratitude to Excellencies, distinguished dignitaries, for remaining seated. Thank you so much for following the protocols for this high-level session. And with that said, it is going to be now my honor to announce that we will continue with the plenary session to deliberate on agenda item 12. And at this juncture, I'm going to request His Excellency, Mr. Benoit Fahako, Special Envoy for Climate, former advisor to the French President and lead negotiator at COP30, as also the co-chair of the 8th session of the ISA Assembly, to please begin with the
July, August, and September 2025. The 6th meeting of the ISA Regional Committee, meeting of Europe and other regions, convened in June in Brussels, Belgium. The 7th meeting of the ISA Regional Committee for Asia and the Pacific region convened in July in Colombo, Sri Lanka. The 7th meeting of the ISA Regional Committee for Latin America and the Caribbean region convened in August in Santiago, Chile. The 7th meeting of the ISA Committee for the African region convened in September in Accra, Ghana. The International Solar Alliance extends its sincere gratitude to the host countries, Belgium, Sri Lanka, Chile, and Ghana, for their steadfast support in organizing these meetings. The report of the 4 regional committees meetings of 2025 were shared with the Vice President of the respective regions and also provided to the member countries as contained in the working documents. I now invite the chair of the 6th meeting of the ISA Regional Committee for the Europe and the other region, Federal Republic of Germany, to address the Assembly and present a brief of the committee's report. Germany, you have the floor.
Okay. Honorable President, Honorable Co-President, esteemed members and signatories of the ISA Assembly, esteemed Director General of ISA, it is my honor to present before this August Assembly the key outcomes of the 6th meeting of the ISA Regional Committee for Europe and other regions, hosted by the European Commission in Brussels, Belgium, and co-chaired by the Vice Presidency of Germany and Italy from 10 to 12 June 2025. The meeting mainly consisted of a presentation by the Honorable Director General on the future of the International Solar Alliance, as well as discussions among members in several other formats. During his presentation and the following discussions, the Honorable Director General noted the continued and significant growth of the global solar sector, but emphasized also the disparity in terms of the distribution of investments between higher and lower income countries. Given the urgency to accelerate just and inclusive energy transition, the Director General highlighted the evolution of ISA in both its vision and strategic direction. As such, priority would be given to the development of collaborative platforms to scale up solar deployment, strengthen energy systems, and ensure that the benefits of solar energy reach all communities. The Director General further provided updates on the star centers, as well as further capacity building and knowledge management, including as part of the Global Capability Center. During their interventions, several members noted the importance of translating commitments into action, also in regard to COP30, commending ISA's role in the process, including through the success of StarC, providing catalytic finance through the Global Solar Facility and its focus on digital solutions for ISA, and welcomed the approach of especially deepening beyond broadening the organization's efforts. Several members highlighted the importance of maximizing synergies between stakeholders engaged in growing solar and renewable energy globally, and particularly in Africa, including through deeper coordination with bilateral programs. In addition, members proposed further embedding gender strategy within ISA's institutional framework as part of its just transition principles, given the disproportionate energy access challenges faced by women and marginalized groups. Discussions among members were followed by 2 fireside chats between the Honorable Director General and Dr. Laura Cozzi of the IAA, as well as Kate Hampton, CEO of the Children's Investment Foundation. The discussion with Dr. Cozzi outlined on the implications of artificial intelligence for the Global South, as well as AI's role in helping utilities in developing countries and Africa's role in the global energy and digital transition. The conversation with Ms. Hampton focused on the current difficulties for international aid due to fiscal pressures, political shifts, and the sovereign debt crisis, while also emphasizing the role of philanthropic actors in overcoming such challenges by evolving into system shapers, helping to create the necessary regulatory framework while also fostering public and private investments to accelerate renewable energy deployment in emerging economies. In addition to the participating ISA members, the meeting also included a discussion of the CEO caucus. The caucus focused on the global solar value chain, highlighting the need to expand manufacturing beyond existing hubs, addressing investment barriers and regulatory delays, while also creating greater market visibility and fostering international cooperation in order to avoid fragmented approaches. The CEO caucus identified the establishment of robust public-private partnerships as a key measure to help de-risk investments, accelerate regulatory processes, and introduce targeted incentives for manufacturing and the integration of solar with storage and broader energy systems. Finally, participants were greeted by His Excellency Dan Jorgensen, European Commissioner for Energy and Housing. As part of a special address, in his speech, Commissioner Jorgensen noted the increasing role of solar energy and further identified three major energy challenges for the EU, namely energy security, competitiveness, and climate change. He further highlighted the role of renewable energy deployment, in particular solar energy, to overcome these interconnected challenges, including by reducing risk of dependence on fossil fuel imports. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Janani. I now invite the chair of the 7th meeting of the ISR Regional Committee for Asia and the Pacific region, the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, to address the Assembly and present a brief of the committee's report. Sri Lanka, you have the floor. So I was just informed that Sri Lanka already addressed this item agenda, and I now invite the Vice President for the Latin America and the Caribbean region, Republic of Suriname, to address the Assembly and present a brief of the report to the 7th meeting of the ISR Regional Committee for the Latin America Caribbean region.
Thank you. Honorable President, Honorable Co-President, esteemed members of the ISA Assembly, Director General, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Latin America and the Caribbean region conveys its respectful greetings to the Honorable President, Honorable Co-President, esteemed members of this Assembly, and the Director General of the International Solar Alliance. It gives me great pleasure to inform this Assembly that the 7th meeting of the ISA Regional Committee for the Latin America and the Caribbean region was convened in Santiago, Republic of Chile, from 4 to 6 August 2025. That was under the Vice Presidency of Grenada. The meeting brought together ministers, senior officials, and development partners from across the region to review progress under ISA's initiatives and to chart pathways for deeper regional collaboration in advancing solar energy deployment. Before continuing, my thoughts, I must say, are with the victims of Hurricane Melissa, lashing through the Caribbean as we speak. My thoughts are with them. The discussions in Santiago reaffirmed the strong regional commitment to cooperation under the ISA framework. Member countries from both the Caribbean and Latin America expressed their shared determination to achieve universal access to affordable and clean energy. The meeting underscored the importance of working together as a region, harnessing our collective strengths and experiences to accelerate solar adoption and to ensure that the energy transition leaves no one behind. The meeting also highlighted the importance of partnerships and collaboration. Representatives from the Latin American Energy Organization of the CARICOM and the OECS Commission reaffirmed their partnership with ISA to promote harmonized solar policies, regulatory alignment, and investment facilitation. The deliberations further emphasized the need for regional project aggregation to unlock economies of scale and attract blended finance to support large-scale solar deployment across the region. ISA's evolved strategic vision sets a clear direction for the Alliance's next phase of growth. It is structured around 4 key pillars, being catalytic finance hub, global capability center and digitalization, thirdly, regional and country-level engagement, and technology roadmap and policy. This vision reflects ISA's transformation into an action-oriented and impact-driven organization focused on accelerating solar deployment worldwide. Member countries of the Latin America and Caribbean region expressed their strong support for the vision and commended its emphasis on digitalization, capacity building, and gender empowerment as powerful enablers of sustainable and inclusive growth across our region. The meeting also witnessed a landmark moment with the formal signing of the Pledge of Support for Small Island Development States, SIDS, of the International Solar Alliance. Ministers and representatives from Antigua and Barbuda, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, Trinidad and Tobago, Belize, the Republic of Suriname, the Dominican Republic, and St. Lucia, together with the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, we came together to sign this pledge. This collective commitment marks a decisive step towards strengthening cooperation among SIDS, enhancing access to solar technologies and financing, and building greater resilience against the climate challenges facing our nations. It reaffirms the shared determinations of our region to harness the power of solar energy, not just as a tool for transition, but as a pathway to prosperity, energy security, and climate justice for all. The Regional Committee highlighted the need for stronger coordination to deepen cooperation and ensure effective implementation on the ground. It also recommended the establishment of regional star centers and the expansion of technical training opportunities for women under the Solar for She program, recognizing that women's leadership is vital to achieving an inclusive energy transition. The committee further encouraged greater integration of solar applications across key sectors such as agriculture, healthcare, and public service delivery to demonstrate the transformative socio-economic impact of solar energy in improving lives and livelihoods. It also called for enhanced South-South cooperation between the Latin America and the Caribbean region and the Africa region to exchange best practices and experiences in distributed solar energy and community-level access. As we look ahead, the Latin America and Caribbean region stands united in its commitment to work closely with the ISA Secretariat and all regional partners to operationalize the SIDS platform, the Global Solar Facility, and the Star Sea Network. Our shared efforts will focus on building resilient, inclusive, and sustainable energy future for the Latin America and the Caribbean region, one that advances universal energy access, drives economic growth, and ensures a cleaner, safer planet for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Suriname. And I now invite the chair of the 7th meeting of the ISA Regional Committee for the Africa region, the Republic of Ghana, to address the Assembly and present a brief of the committee's report. Ghana, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Let me thank everybody, Honorable President, Co-President, esteemed members of the ISA Assembly, Director General, Excellencies. I have the full report, but with your permission, I'll give an abridged version and urge the Secretariat to capture the full version as a full report. Thank you very much. The 7th meeting of the ISA Regional Committee for Africa was held in Accra from 2nd to 4th September this year. It focused on aligning Africa's clean energy transition with that of ISA's 4 pillars strategic vision. The meeting emphasized blended financing, project bankability, and digital transformation as key enablers for sustainable energy growth. As you may be aware, despite Africa holding about 60% of the world's best solar sources, it attracts only 2% of global clean energy investment. This situation is very worrying, and it came to light at the meeting. At the meeting, the committee reaffirmed its resolve to bridge this gap by promoting bankable solar projects, mobilizing private capital, and strengthening grids and human capacity. With 600 million Africans still lacking electricity, especially in rural areas, the forum called for partnership to expand affordable access for all. And in this, we highlighted that solar, particularly off-grid solar, can play a significant role to bridge that gap. Key outcomes of the meeting also included the signing of a country partnership framework between ISA and Ghana, Nigeria, and the Gambia, as well as progress on initiatives such as the Solar Data Portal, Solar for She, and Star C Centers. Examples of impactful projects across Africa, such as cold storage and solar irrigation, were highlighted at the meeting. Collaboration with institutions like the World Bank, AFDB, and Africa 50 explored ways to scale financing through the Africa Solar Facility. The committee urged ISA to deepen implementation efforts, promote regional solar manufacturing, and leverage AI and digitalization. In conclusion, let me use this opportunity to reaffirm Africa's commitment to leading a just, inclusive solar transition that delivers affordable, reliable, and sustainable energy for all, fulfilling the continent's vision of prosperity powered by the African sun. Thank you very much. I'm grateful, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, Ghana. And this assembly thanks every participant and president of the regional committee's report. I invite the Assembly to adopt the reports of the regional committee meetings and provide guidance and comments on the reports of the regional committees, if any. I see no request from the floor, so adopted. In the absence of any further comments, we shall proceed with the next agenda item.
Excellencies, the next agenda is the preparation for the 9th session of ISA Assembly. The ISA Secretariat proposes the 9th session of the ISA Assembly be conducted from 9 hours IST from Monday, 2nd November to Thursday, 5th November 2026 in New Delhi, India. I invite the Assembly to approve the dates proposed by the ISA Secretariat and provide the guidance and the comments on the preparation of the 9th session of the ISA Assembly, if any. So it is approved. In absence of any comments, we shall proceed to the high-level now we shall assemble for the group photograph, and post-lunch we will continue with the agenda.
Thank you very much, Honorable President. And with that, I request Excellencies, Honorable Heads of Delegations to kindly join us on these steps for the group photograph. May I invite you to please join us on stage so that we can have a group picture. And right after that, I invite Excellencies, the Honorable Ministers, to please join the Honorable President and Honorable Co-President at the Leaders' Lounge for the press conference. The Leaders' Lounge is at the level 2 of this building. But just before that, we will take this group photograph with the Honorable President of the ISA Assembly, the Honorable Co-President, and the Excellencies seated on the dais. And I invite the Excellencies in the audience to kindly join us on stage now and be a part of this group photograph. Right after which we will proceed, esteemed dignitaries and delegates, for lunch. I'd like to invite the Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, to please join the Honorable President and Honorable Co-President at the Leaders' Lounge at level 2 for the press conference. And I will make lunch announcements very shortly. For all our other esteemed dignitaries and delegates, I also invite you to please pay a visit at the Media Lounge on your way to lunch, right outside, where you could give us your country statements, record them at the Media Lounge. May I request heads of delegations and excellencies to please join us? Please join us for the group photograph. I request Honorable President of ISA Assembly, Honorable Co-President, and the esteemed excellencies gracing the dais, DG ISA, Shri Ashish Khanna. I request you to kindly join us for the group photograph now. I request excellencies, the honorable ministers, to please take the chairs, and the other heads of delegation can come behind the chairs, take their position behind the chairs. All the honorable ministers, excellencies, are requested to please be seated on the chairs for the photograph, and the other esteemed heads of delegations to kindly join us right behind the chair on the other step. We'd also like to apprise all the heads of delegations that on their way to lunch, if you could please record your country statements at the Media Lounge. We also have ISA's latest publications there for you to browse through. Do we need to step away? May I also request the entire ISA Secretariat to also join us on this final step. May I request the entire ISA Secretariat to come and join us quickly. ISA Secretariat members, may I request you to please join us. Thank you very much. Excellencies, Honorable Ministers, I hope you're all in the frame, and the heads of delegations as well. I see some members still joining us, so request the photographers to make sure everyone is in the photo. ISA Secretariat is also requested to please be in the photograph. Thank you very much, Excellencies. With that, the Honorable Ministers are requested now to please proceed to the Leaders' Lounge for the press conference. Please join at level 2. At level 2, we have the Leaders' Lounge at level 2 is where the press conference is. Excellencies, the Honorable Ministers are requested, and thereafter, the lunch for the Honorable Ministers is at level 1. So, press conference is at level 2, and lunch is at level 1. Meeting room 19, and the LOs are going to promptly escort you. Heads of delegations, your lunch has been organized at meeting room 18, again at level 1. And heads of delegations are also requested to please stop by at the media lounge and give us your country statements. And for all the other esteemed dignitaries and delegates, I invite you to please join us for lunch at level 1 at the pre-function area. And we will gather back in this room a couple of minutes before 1400 hours, that is 2 p.m., when we resume the proceedings with very, very insightful sessions. So I'm going to request you to please come back, esteemed dignitaries, after lunch. For now, the Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, are being requested to please proceed to the Leaders' Lounge and join the Honorable President and Honorable Co-President at level 2, the Leaders' Lounge. Honorable Ministers, your lunch is organized at meeting room 19 at level 1. So, press conference at level 2 at the Leaders' Lounge, lunch for the Honorable Ministers at level 1, meeting room 19. For all the other heads of delegations, lunch has been organized at meeting room 18 at level 1, and the other esteemed delegates, I invite you for lunch at the L1, the level 1 pre-function area. And this is very important for all the country statements that need to be recorded. Yes. The Honorable Ministers are requested to proceed to Leaders' Lounge at level 2 right now and join the President and Co-President at the press conference. Their lunch, the Honorable Ministers' lunch is at level 1. Level 1, room number 19. So level 1, room number 19 is lunch for the Honorable Ministers. Right after that, I'm going to request you to please come back here. Also for the other heads of delegations, the meeting room 18 has been designated for lunch. Again at level 1. So lunch is all at level 1. For the Honorable Ministers, it's meeting room 19. For the heads of delegations, it's meeting room 18. And for everyone else, it is the pre-function area at level 1, L1 pre-function area. We also have a lovely exhibition at the level 1. I invite you to please pay a visit. Please browse through the exhibition in your break time. During lunch also you could pay a visit. So I request you, please join us. And ladies and gentlemen, we will gather back here in this multi-purpose hall at exactly 2 p.m. we will start. So a couple of minutes, if I could request you to come back, we will begin. I thank you very much once again. I hope that my announcements are clear. As of now, the Honorable Ministers will proceed to the Leaders' Lounge at level 2. Lunch organized for the Honorable Ministers is at level 1 at meeting room 19. Meeting room 18 is designated for the heads of delegations at level 1. And all the other delegates, you're cordially invited for lunch at L1 pre-function area. Thank you.
Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1.
Honorable Minister, please. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We request you all to please kindly take your seats. We shall be shortly beginning with the press conference. If you may kindly ensure that, should you be carrying any mobile phones, before we begin, just a few housekeeping announcements. This is a 30-minute press briefing. The session will open with the remarks from our distinguished speakers, followed by a short Q&A. We request all members of the media to please identify themselves and their organizations before posing a question. Kindly keep your questions concise and relevant to today's discussions and that of the International Solar Alliance. Photography and videography are permitted. However, please avoid using a flash or moving around during the remarks. Excellencies, dignitaries, members of the media, colleagues and guests, a very warm welcome to you all. We are delighted to host you here at the official press conference of the 8th Assembly of the International Solar Alliance, taking place in New Delhi, Republic of India. Today's assembly has witnessed high-level participation, insightful deliberations and important announcements, including the presentation of the Director General's report, the launch of new initiatives, and the Honorable President of India's keynote address, reaffirming ISA's vision to make solar energy a unifying force for global development. It is now my honor to share key highlights of the day's proceedings with you. May I take this opportunity to introduce our esteemed speakers for the press briefing. We are joined by His Excellency Shri Prahlad Joshi, the Honorable Union Minister, New and Renewable Energy, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, and President of the ISA Assembly. His Excellency Mr. Benoit Fahako, Special Envoy for Climate, French and Europe and Foreign Affairs, representing the co-presidency of the ISA Assembly. Mr. Ashish Khanna, Director General of the International Solar Alliance. Honorable Ministers from ISA member countries, and Honorable Secretary, MNRE, Government of India. We begin with the opening remarks from Mr. Ashish Khanna, DG ISA. Sir, the floor is yours.
Welcome, everyone. It's an honor to have my first assembly as Director General. Thank you very much. A lot of you from the media were here when I was sitting on the corner seat last year as the elector. What we are doing now, this year, is translating ISA, building on the strengths of moving from ambition to action. As we discussed in the session with Honorable President of India, which a lot of you would have seen is the first ever visit from a head of state of India since 2018, when ISA was launched, that reaffirms the importance India assigns to the role of solar and ISA's ability to convene member countries. We are in this assembly looking at moving from ambition to action. As part of that, a new strategy that looks at platforms for convening countries, whether it is SIDS, where 16 countries will begin a joint procurement, whether it is Global Solar Facility that starts with Africa Solar Facility, a $200 million fund to get private sector to invest in decentralized renewable energy in Africa, including solar pumps for food security. Whether it is One Sun, One World, One Grid, which will be the new platform being launched in the Assembly today, and also forums for bringing all the countries together to share the best practices of knowledge. We will be launching Sunrise, which is an initiative for recycling of solar and battery waste, bringing all the 125 countries together as partners for shared standards and businesses. In this era of critical minerals, if we can get the business model for recycling right, that can solve a lot of problems of critical minerals. We will bring countries together on using our capacity building initiatives of StarSea that are being aligned to a Silicon Valley for solar, which is the dream that will start with IT-enabled learning platforms, both through YouTube channels and a global capability center that will be unveiled during the assembly. There is a right for almost 8 billion people to have access to same information to pursue solar and know about it as well. We will also be launching some of the thought leadership of ISA during the assembly. We have worked on our perspective of global solar trends, of where the entire solar batteries and new technologies are headed in next 3 to 5 years. We have also ranked all our 124 member countries on ease of doing solar across 7 key parameters that will be released. And we are also launching a special edition of a research journal focused on developing world, because we will really like the youth of developing world to start focusing on research areas that are very relevant. This will be done through Solar Compass. We will also be launching annual green hydrogen industry update and a floating solar handbook for all countries who want to do floating solar. So a lot of new initiatives being launched, and we really look forward to collaborating together with all our 125 member countries, because they are asking us to move from ambition to action, with all our private sector partners, multilateral development banks, because we cannot do it alone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DG, for those insightful reflections on ISA's progress, partnerships, and the path ahead. I now invite His Excellency Mr. Benoit Fahako, Special Envoy for Climate, French, Europe and Foreign Affairs, representing the co-president of the ISA Assembly, to deliver his remarks.
Thank you, and good morning to all. I'm so happy to be here and to co-chair with India this 8th session of the General Assembly of the International Solar Alliance. 10 years ago, in the corridor of the Paris Agreement, India, France, and a few other countries had this very visionary idea about the International Solar Alliance. We were negotiating the Paris Agreement, a global framework to fight climate change, and in a way, France and India knew that the Paris Agreement will not be enough. Of course, we have the Paris Agreement, our compass to fight climate change, but we need action and implementation. And when we are preparing this year COP30 in Brazil, with the objective to accelerate action about climate change, we must say that I'm very impressed by all the work that have been done with the International Solar Alliance over the last 8 years with, after its creation by Prime Minister Modi and President Macron. And I think this very strong commitment, which started with a small group of countries, I know it's more than 120 gathered here today, demonstrates that on this planet there is a majority of countries who wants to act and that international cooperation still matters. Of course, we have turbulence at the international level. Of course, we don't agree on everything, but on this particular topic, solar energy, we have unity. And that's the beauty of the International Solar Alliance, and we are very proud of the work that has been done by India over the last 8 years, because when we look today what is the situation, we all acknowledge that solar is already at market. it's the best economic solution to energy sovereignty, to eradicate energy poverty, to clean air, to mitigate climate change. It's, the Rolls-Royce of climate solution, and I'm so happy to be here with you all today. Of course, if we consider that solar is already at market, we should question why do we need still an international solar alliance. And this session this morning demonstrated that for the next decade, this international solar alliance will be very needed. I will not repeat what has been presented, but some critical issues are behind us to be resolved. For instance, grids. It's super important to enhance solar penetration into grids, and it's a common problem we face in Latin America, in Africa, in Asia, and there is so much we can learn from each other that it's super relevant. Critical mineral, open market for critical mineral. Recycling as a good opportunity to have sovereignty also on critical mineral. That's a trending topic that will make us work for years and years in order to collaborate. And my last point, of course, will be on Africa, because even in Africa, solar is the cheapest energy sources. There is a big gap in investment in Africa. And I think France, India, and all our African partners here are here to solve this problem by bringing innovative finance solution, but also investing in people in order to make solar a solution for all. So I'm so happy to be here with you today, because 10 years before COP30 in Brazil, France, India, and all participants here today already decided that implementation was a top priority, and we are delivering. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for sharing your valuable perspectives. And now, may I request the President of the International Solar Alliance Assembly, Shri Prahlad Joshi, the Honorable Union Minister, New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, to share his perspectives.
Good afternoon. Welcome to you all members of media, colleagues and friends. I am very happy to address you at this momentous opening day of the 8th session of International Solar Alliance here in Bharat Mandapam. As already mentioned, today morning, Honorable President of India, Honorable Srimati Draupadi Murmuji addressed the ISA Assembly for the very first time. Her keynote set an inspiring tone for the discussion, reaffirming that solar energy is not just a technology of progress, but force for the inclusion of dignity and shared prosperity. The International Solar Alliance, as you all know, launched by India and France at COP21 in Paris. Now, 125 members, signatory countries, and common mission. And out of 125 member countries and signatory countries, nearly about 120 countries have here participated in this Bharat Mandapam today. To make solar energy the cornerstone of the fair, affordable and sustainable energy future, ISA is working out, and what began as a vision now matured into a powerful platform of the action, mobilizing the finance, sharing the knowledge, and driving the innovation across the countries. Today, the Assembly also marked the decisive shift from the ambition to implementation. As already mentioned by DG, we announced the launch of Sunrise, the solar upcycling network for recycling, innovation and stakeholder engagement, a new global initiative to turn solar and battery waste into an opportunity for circular growth. Innovation and green employment. We also launched dedicated One Sun, One World, One Grid, OSOWOG program establishing a vertical within the ISA to accelerate the regional solar interconnections. The OSOWOG initiative is an ambitious initiative proposed by India under the guidance and the leadership of Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and spearheaded by International Solar Alliance ISA. A detailed study has identified the priority corridors linking the East Asia, South Asia, Middle East, Europe, and Europe, Africa, with feasibility assessment work to begin soon. Another significant step forward is unveiling the Global Capability Center and ISA Academy, which together form a backbone of ISA's capacity building vision. A Silicon Valley for solar connecting the Center of Excellence called STAR, S-T-A-R. C-cross member countries through AI-driven multilingual and inclusive learning pathways. The ISA Assembly will democratize the access of solar knowledge, empower the local talent, and help every nation to build its own skilled solar workforce. We are also committed to harmonizing the standards and testing of the solar across the ISA member countries in partnership with the National Institute of Solar Energy, NICE. ISA's flagship financing vehicle through $200 million African Solar Facility is also soon on the course to be launched soon. And India's leadership in the world of solar under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's guidance has led us to be ranked third globally in solar power generation, having achieved 50% of the installed capacity from non-fossil sources, 5 years ahead of its 2030 target by avoiding nearly 4 lakh crore or about 46 billion US dollars in fossil fuel imports and pollution-related costs. India's transition demonstrates that clean energy is not a cost, but the investment in growth, health, and human potential. As a president of ISA Assembly, India remains firmly committed to enabling, not prescribing or empowering every nation to define its own path to substantiality. More than 761.8 gigawatt lies within the member countries of the ISA, accounting nearly 41% of the solar global capacity. This rapid scale-up of the solar deployment reflects the historic success story in making the clean energy affordable and accessible. Through initiatives such as aggregated procurement under the SIDS platform, the Africa Solar Facility, Sunrise, Global Capacity Center, and OSOWOG program, the ISA is driving the practical collaborative solution that take the solar from the margins to the mainstream. In Sub-Saharan Africa and small island nation, millions still live without reliable electricity. Bridging this divide demands the collective ambition and equitable finance. India invites all partners of the ISA to join this mission to energize and empower the new global energy order together. Together, we are shaping the future where every home, school, and farm can be empowered by sun, where the circularity and equity define our growth, and where the energy of the global south lights the way for the world. I thank you once again. Welcome to you all. Now, you can raise the question, and as far as ISA is concerned, DG will reply, and this is mainly related to ISA only.
Sir, good afternoon. I'm Setu from Reuters. So just wanted to check, like, how you're going to move India's manufacturing ecosystem. Like, how do you think that India's solar manufacturing ecosystem will be utilized by ESA into the newer markets where you have like a lot of new member countries, like nearly 125 countries. So do you have some plans on that? Because there's a lot of discussions about overcapacity in India, at least in terms of the modules is concerned. But is there any plans? Because there's also in the member countries that you have, like, there's also strong China's presence. So how do you think that, you know, have you already been in touch with companies in India to take them there, or in terms of having the companies who can execute projects in your member countries? And also I want to understand what is the target, capacity target that you're aiming in your member countries over the next couple of years? So this will be helpful, thank you.
So your question may have multiple levels. The first part is, what do a lot of our countries really need? And one initiative that we feel a lot of countries, especially from Africa, really need is on solarization of agriculture. Less than 4% of arable land is irrigated in Africa, leading to $400 billion of food imports. And the big program of Kusum, which is looking at more than 3.5 million pumps to be replaced, is a very good learning opportunity to connect countries, and that leads to manufacturing capabilities and manufacturing options as well. Second question is, for manufacturers to invest in countries, they need assurance of risk of not getting paid. That is why the Africa Solar Facility that ISA is launching is very important, because often the risk in Africa and small island developing states is perceived. Some of these countries are paying the tariff of 30 US cents. That's almost 25 rupees. So people are either paying 25 rupees in India equivalent for tariff or having diesel. So if any solar comes, it will be less than half of that particular cost. Therefore, the actual risk is minimal, but you need a financial instrument to provide risk mitigation support for the first investment. That is the purpose of Africa Solar Facility. The third piece, which even Indian manufacturers are very keen, do you have teams on the ground that can actually help on the policy side? So for the countries that have country partnership strategy, 10 of them I mentioned, 6 of them are in Africa, we are going to set up our local offices and local teams there, working across the government on policy and regulatory reforms that can enable the private sector. And the final point is that whether it links to all kind of solar PV panels, a lot of it is going to be about cost competitiveness. If Indian manufacturers, whether you're on solar pumps, DRE, large-scale solar, as they are internationally competitive, the whole market is being open for them.
Before we move to the next question, we would urge that you please keep your questions concise and to the point. So make sure you introduce yourself, your publication, and then pose your question.
Hi, sir. This is Tapush Bhattacharya from Doordarshan. I have 2 questions, actually. First, could you tell us the business model of the Africa Solar Facility and also the hydrogen facility that Sir just mentioned, and the latest on the China's membership in ISA?
So on Africa Solar Facility, often what countries need are very unique to those countries. Let me give you an example of Nigeria. In Nigeria has world's largest energy access deficit anywhere, about 90 million people, 9 crore. More than half of them are going to get energy through mini grids and decentralized renewable energy. Now, private sector is moving from 100 mini grids to 10,000 mini grids, but they need financing for that. Now, debt is available, but equity is not available. So their own sovereign wealth fund is creating a $150 million facility to invest in equity. The board of NSIA said, why don't you partner
with a very credible international agency who's going to come with you. So they are asking 10% of that from ISA's Africa Solar Facility to enable their 150 million and the debt. So that's a leverage of 30. That gives you an example. On your second question, we are very open to membership of China as well. The ball is in China's court. I think if ISA can have China, we would have covered 90% of the entire solar market. So we welcome their partnership.
Hi sir, Tarun Sharma from Z Business. I have two questions. Will there be any discussion during this event about tying up with the Multilateral Development Bank for low-cost loan? And second, this question to Minister sir. Sir, are there any schemes that have generated interest outside India like PM Surya Ghar or Kusum Yojana? Thank you.
So on your first question, as I keep saying, the power of ISA is convening and bringing partners together. Give you an example, the small island developing states in which 16 countries are coming together to do joint procurement, to learn from each other, get economies of scale, and attract large private sector. We are working with World Bank Group, both on transmission investments that are needed, but also on possible guarantees through MEGA and TA. So this is a joint partnership. Similarly, some of the work we are doing on green hydrogen and new technologies is done with ADB. And we have partnerships with SE for All, with AFDB on others. So obviously it is based on all the partnerships.
As far as scheme like PM Surya and PM Kusum outside India, two things I would like to share with you. One is as far as our experience in PM Surya and PM Kusum, it is excellent. I think it is one of the most successful program, and 10 million rooftop solar target, and out of that nearly about 21 lakh completed, 21 lakh nearly completed. And that is the one of the very ambitious target, and we are going ahead as per our target. So what I would like to share with you is we are ready to share our experience, our expertise, and ISA is already using this experience, and also we are supporting the ISA also to expand our experience and our expertise in the other part of the world where ISA, there is a member in the member countries of the ISA. And naturally, this success story, because ISA's intention itself is, the purpose of the forming the ISA in COP21 is to see that everywhere through non-fossil sources, generation of electricity, whether it is in a large scale or in a decentralized system, that was the intention, and India is most successful in that, and we are together, ISA and India, we are sharing our experience outside the country also.
Can you change the mic, please? Yeah.
Yeah. Jayashree from Hindustan Times. I wanted to ask you, sir, how are you planning to diversify access to critical minerals, because that will be one of the critical issues for solar upgradation in all these countries. And also, now that we have achieved 50% of our capacity from non-fossil sources, are we planning to increase on that or update on that? Thank you.
So let me answer the first part of the question, and I'll request the Honorable Minister or the Secretary to answer the second part. We believe the critical minerals agenda is a very big agenda, and it has multiple dimensions. But one critical dimension that we are beginning today, because we have all 120 countries plus here with us, is to initiate a program that we are calling Sunrise. The full form for that is Solar Upcycling Network for Recycling, Innovation, and Stakeholder Engagement. What basically it entails is that whether it is solar PV or battery waste, right now there are no set standards, measurement and business models. And just as internet and meters started with no shared standards, this is the big opportunity to actually address critical minerals, because if India is doing 30 gigawatts every year, 20 years from now, if the technology which we believe is possible can extract 90% minerals from those that are being waste, it creates a cycle for actually taking care of critical minerals. So beyond other aspects of critical minerals, circularity is good for environment, it creates jobs, it creates wealth, and addresses the critical mineral requirements.
As far as the target is concerned, 50% is achieved well ahead of our schedule. But the 500 gigawatt till 2030 is the ambitious target, and we are working out on that, and I am quite confident we will achieve that.
Can you change the mic, please? Yes.
Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Elena. I represent TASS News Agency. My first question, I guess this information already was announced. How many countries for today are members of ISA? And do you have this ambitious goal, like to cover the whole Earth, that all the countries will be members of ISA? And as I represent Russian news agency, perhaps are there any ongoing discussions of possible membership of Russia in ISA? And if you allow me, please, a question to the Honorable Minister, Mr. Pralhad Joshi. Russia and India are already strategic partners in energy, and can you see, do you see that renewable energy may become a new area of cooperation between our two countries? Thank you very much.
So I think on your first question, we already have 125 countries as members. And you know, after a while, then the incremental will take time, but we are quite open. It is fully possible that 5 to 10 years from now, we will represent a UN kind of a system with all 180, 190 member countries. On your specific question of Russia, we welcome all countries to become members. In fact, we believe with India's presidency of BRICS next year, working together on solar can actually a very transformative agenda given the market internationally.
As far as International Solar Alliance is concerned or renewable energy is concerned, as you know, as Russia is concerned, we have a historical strategic partnership with Russia. Even as far as either renewable energy or solar energy, any country, including with Russia, there is absolutely no issue for us.
In the interest of time, colleagues, we will have one last question. Do we have, maybe perhaps we can, yes, two. Yeah, so we will have, we will perhaps invite more questions from our international colleagues.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, my name is Asha Ramachandran. I'm an independent journalist, but I mostly write for the Himalayan News Chronicle. So my question is about the mountainous regions. Because the ecosystem is unique and it's also facing a lot of climate impact, which is very different from the other regions and other ecosystems. So what does ISA have any programs, plans or projects specific to the mountain region globally in India and also specifically for the Himalayan region?
Thank you for this question. I was in Bhutan last month, and Bhutan, because it has deficient energy in winters, has embarked with our support on a solar roadmap of 5,000 megawatt by 2040 with 1,000 megawatt by 2030. And most of the sites, as you know, are on the hillsides based on a very important assessment of land, direction, irradiation. We are now discussing the same issue with Nepal as well, which has actually successfully bid out 900 megawatts already and want to do more. We will bring similar countries along with partners who specialize on that, like ICIMOD, which have also a partnership agreement with ISA in helping these mountainous countries come out with solar solutions, and that's definitely. It goes to the wider point that different countries have very unique characteristics, and we will adapt global knowledge to local adaptation.
Yes. Ma'am in the front. Yeah.
Livia Rodriguez, de Prensa Latina, Cuba. Recently, you visited Cuba, and we would like to know what is your opinion about the benefits that the program, Alliance program, can do in Cuba.
So, the country of Cuba has 6,000 megawatts of demand, all met by heavy fuel oil. And as I mentioned today for SIDS and others, having heavy fuel oil and diesel at the cost of 30 cents is criminal, in addition to being very climate unfriendly. We are trying to help Cuba on two accounts. One, to get some of the solar pumps moved to Cuba, because that is something that they are in on a high priority need. We are starting with a small pilot, but we are discussing from about 400 going up to 10,000 solar pumps over the next 3 years. And secondly, some of the larger companies that have global offshoots that relates to their currency problems, if they want to move to solar as part of their industrial setup through commercial industrial establishment, we will work out a business model. So those are two big areas we really hope. And there's a Star Sea Center in Cuba that's operational. I was there. I was delighted how it is helping not only Cubans, but all the neighboring countries in training. And we will create a more institutional setup to build capacity in Cuba.
In the interest of time, ladies and gentlemen, we have space for one question. I see ANI. Could you please change the mic if not? Yeah.
Hi sir, this is Vishu from ANI. My question is related to funding. Funding is a great concern. As you mentioned that you are looking for the private funding, and France has also announced financial contribution. Are you looking at other countries also for contribution? And when it comes to private funding, what sort of private funding are you looking at right now?
So I'd like to begin by saying that definitely we are living in an era where unfortunately there is a huge cut in development financing across the board, and therefore this question of concessional financing is very important. For our Africa solar facility, we believe we will be at around $75 million in 2 months, but the target is to raise another $125 million to become $200 million. So we will be raising financing. But I would like to reiterate, often, because of my 25 years experience across countries, I see countries demanding a lot of concessional finance. And one of our dialogue is, if you look at the world, out of $2 trillion of total clean energy financing, roughly only about 100 billion was concessional finance. That means 1.9 trillion is from private sector. So our work with countries is to see what will enable private sector to start investing in your countries. That is ease of doing solar, making sure you have the right fundamentals, you have the right laws, right policies, regulations, and a good bankable power purchase agreement. But because if you look around and ask countries, do you have a great project with great fundamentals that is not happening without finance? The answer will be no, that's not the case. Private sector is always looking for good policy regulations and bankable projects. That's it.
Thank you all. With this, we conclude the official press conference of the 8th session of the ISA Assembly. We invite you to please stay connected with us through our website and social media platforms for regular updates on ISA's activities and upcoming initiatives. We also have our comms and media team in attendance here today, so please feel free to get in touch with my colleagues Aarti, Kakul, and Shobita, who are here. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful afternoon, and please do join us for lunch. We request all the honorable ministers in attendance to please join us for lunch in meeting room number 19, level 1. So we will take the escalator to the left of this hall. As you exit the hall, kindly take the escalator to the left. Honorable ministers, can we request all colleagues to please allow the honorable ministers to pass first? Thank you so much for your kind consideration.